Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on CapnclydesMTG. We got more card spikes thanks to those sneaky commander players. And actually, we got a good old comeback story in the land of modern. So, before we get started, don't forget, comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Comments down below will feed that YouTube algorithm, as jacked up as it is. But anyway, links in the description to everything from TCG, eBay, Patreon. Be a YouTube subscriber. It all supports the channel. Also, Discord's in there somewhere. You can find that. Come hang out, play some games. PoE2's on the menu lately. So, with all that said and done, let's take a look at the newest and sweet have been cards. The new cards that are spiking as people are starting to realize they're pretty good. So, the first culprit of the day in Commander is this little fellow, the Persistent Constrictor. Came out in Duskmourn Commander box. You can see here this thing has spiked from relatively 75 cents to $1 all the way up to close to 20 bucks. Now, again, it says here the market price is $5. But at the top here, it shows 19. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. So, to actually see what's going on, you'd have to actually go down into the comment section, excuse me. You'd actually have to go down to where the sales are to see what the real price is. And the real price is sporting around $6 at the moment, which is close to what you see here. But that's still a 500% increase almost moving forward. Now, also, remember, I don't know where they get their stuff from to get this number. It's whatever. But as I went and I looked to kind of look at what the sales data was, there has been sales pretty regularly every day, 4 to 5 sales minimum for this card right here. And it is because of Commander. So a black and 4 for a 5/3 doesn't seem that great. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, they lose 1 life, and you put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature they control. The best thing about this card is it does have persist, meaning you got to kill it twice, basically. And this card has seen lots of popularity as a zombie snake in several decks for several reasons. One of the main culprits is having this card in your deck, Volgoth, the Horror of Souls, black, red, and 2 for a 4/4 for 4, flying, ward, pay 2 life, already a good card. But whenever an opponent loses life for the first time, during each of their turns, play a +1/+1 counter on the Horror of Souls and draw a card. So with this and the Constrictor, you basically every turn, if you're playing with 4 people, get to draw a card for free and make this thing huge. So seen a lot of play inside this deck, and decks like it moving forward. Another main culprit of causing this card to spike is this sweet little lady right here. In Jumpstart for Foundations, Ophelia the Viper Whispered, a black and 1 for a 1/3 Death Toucher. Now, whenever she attacks, you may pay a black or green and 1 colorless. If you do, you get a 1/1 Black Snake with Death Touch for a black and 4 until end of turn. Whenever 1 or more Gorgons and or snakes you control do a combat damage player, that player loses half their life rounded up. So, yeah. 2 cards of lots of popularity, but just as a general card, the persistent Constrictor is just seeing a lot of play because of just what it does, which is your opponent loses a life, you can shrink down one of their creatures, it's hard to kill, and if you have a way to put +1/+1 counters on things, you can take off the persist counter so that it has to be killed an additional time. If you're picking up what I'm putting down. So yeah, there's that. So, we've got those shenanigans going on in the Commander. And then we have this shenanigan going on in Commander. That's right, it's Jacked Rabbit. The Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you will, of rabbits. Get to the chopper. Anyway, so Jacked Rabbit has seen an amazing spike in price here lately. Honestly, for several reasons. One, it's a 1/2 for 1 is pretty good. The whole Ravenous thing, which is just creepy in its own way. I can't even describe how creepy this is, that this rabbit would eat other things like rabbits. Has seen an amazing spike from around 450 to start all the way up to around, it says 14 here, 19 here. The cheapest one I see listed currently is about 17 if you include shipping. So yeah, you're probably looking at easily 200-300% increase. So why is this thing so hot? Well, for a white and 1, you get a 1/2 if that's all you pay for. Now for X, which is colorless, you get Ravenous, where this creature enters with X +1/+1 counters on it, where if X is 5 or more, you draw a card when it enters. Now, so if you played this for 7, you get 5 counters, so this becomes a 6/7. You get to draw a card, and whenever Jackrabbit enters, you create a number of 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens equal to Jackrabbit's power. So even if you don't get to draw a card off of it, playing this for 4 and putting 2 counters on him, you're getting a 3/4 plus 3 other 1/1 rabbit creature tokens. Already pretty good, which is probably why it's close to $5. However, with the printing of, you guessed it, the Heir Apparent, this card has seriously taken off, because you can have as many of these cards as you want in your deck, so i.e. Commander, you can just fill them up. White and 1 for the 2/2. Whenever this creature enters, create a number of 1/1 white rabbit creature tokens equal to the number of other creatures you control named Heir Apparent. A deck can have any number of these any cards named Heir Apparent. Again, Rabbit Noble, so you have an amazing rabbit tribal deck. And when you have things like the banner and all these other things that are giving you, we'll say, Anthem style effects, these rabbits can get big quick. So yeah, so Jacked Rabbit along with Heir Apparent has really become a thing. And to be fair, Jacked Rabbit by itself is just fine, but the fact that you can run it in a deck with things like Heir Apparent and other good rabbits, never thought I'd say that, is another reason why this card has really, Jacked Rabbit has picked up in popularity. Now, with that said, and all the Commander shenanigans are aside, it's time to go back to the way things used to be and talk about this little fella right here, the good old seasoned Pyromancer. I remember back in the day, this guy came out, he was close to $20. Now, he was down to around the $3 range, $3.50-ish. But in the last 3 months, you can see here, there's been a serious spike up to almost $7. I don't know where this $30 price tag comes from. Yeah, sometimes this whole direct by TCG player thing, I think they're just listing the ones that they sell for whatever reason. I don't know. I have no idea where that number comes from. Yeah, I'm just boggles the imagination. So, there are 3 different printings of this. There are the Double Masters version, the original Modern Masters, and Pro Tour Promo, which is going for around $32 currently. But on this one, the price is right around $6 for heavily played. So if you want one that's not heavily played, you want more in the light played near mint area, you're going to look around $8 currently on the TCG market for this. So why is this card all of a sudden spiking for what appears to be no real reason? Well, believe it or not, this card has actually become very popular in Mono Red and Modern. And here's why. Modern Red Modern does its thing like it does. The problem with it is it's never really had any drawability. However, now with things like, oh my god, the 1 red, draw 2, discard 2. Jesus Christ, it's just unbanned. I don't even, anyway, point being, that being a great card to discard some stuff was great for 1 mana, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of play, we'll say, in a deck where every card counts, because the whole point to the deck is to kill your opponent before they stabilize. What this card can do for you is for 3 mana, which you're playing mono red, 2 red doesn't really matter. It does give you a 2/2, which is not the best. However, when it enters, you discard 2 cards and then draw 2. For each non-land card you discard this way, you get a 1/1 red creature token, which could be relevant to a point. But I think the key here is you discard 2, then draw 2. Now, if you discard cards to get 1/1s, that's great. But the prime thing this has been doing in these old mono red Boros Charm decks is they empty out their hand, and this is basically a 2/2 creature that draws them 2 cards and gets them back in the game to get more damage to kill the opponent. And worst case scenario, the game goes way too long. For 5 mana, you can jerk it out of your graveyard, get 2 creatures to attack with, which late game is something that the Boros aggro deck does not have. And this does help out with that at least a little and give you that kind of game plan. So, will this card go higher? Maybe. But to be honest, 100% increase in a modern card that's been around for a while is really something we don't honestly see because of format change. So, with all that said and done, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. Better pick up your seasoned Pyromancers while you can.